Constantine #2, written by Ray Fawkes and Jeff Lemire, art by Renato Guedes. So, last issue, Constantine discovered a magical MacGuffin of some compass thing, spread it across 3 parts, and he let his little companion guy die because that's what Constantine do. This issue picks up with Constantine arriving in Myanmar, and these inner monologues just basically saying the fact of, everyone thinks they'd use magic for like good things and they would never let it influence how they make decisions outside of that. But magic is literally a drug more addictive than you could possibly imagine because you are bending the universe to your will. So even when people get hurt, you just keep doing it. So he lands, he takes a taxi, and he's talking to the guy, and all of a sudden they get rammed by this truck with a bunch of child soldiers, and Constantine gets abducted. And as he wakes up, he sees, he's being held at gunpoint, the kids are smoking his cigarettes, and he's like, okay, well, if you're all kids, how about a magic trick? And he pulls a bullet out of thin air, and he's like, yeah, this came straight from your guns. The question is, whose is it? And as they arrive, all the kids are laughing, so I guess he was genuine, like he was actually trying to entertain them rather than scare them or anything like that. But when he gets there it's just some little grass hut. He gets there, and one of the guys is like, all right, give me your hands. We're tying up, and we're going to put you in this hut, and if you do anything, I'm going to shoot at your kneecaps. And when he gets placed in there, in comes a mage that we saw a hint to last issue of Mr. E, who is this, as far as I can tell, like negatively colored guy in a suit. And we discover he also is very southern. He speaks in a southern drawl, and he's blind. He can't see anything, which you'd think with magic could be fixed. But it was magic that caused it, so I guess not. But either way, he says, hey, we want to know where the thing is, our magical MacGuffin. Tell us where the needle is and where you're hiding it, and we'll just take it and be on our way. And Constantine says, no, of course. So then Mr. E uses some magic to start tearing Constantine's soul from his body, and Constantine gives it up. He says, yeah, okay, I hid it in a cigarette, it's in my pocket. And Mr. E reaches down, grabs a cigarette, and takes the needle. And then he starts just lambasting Constantine. He's like, yeah, well, thanks for giving it to me. I'm still going to kill you, though. That's obvious, but at least I'll make it quick now. And Constantine says, hold on. Before I die, I got to tell you this joke. It's a great joke. It's hilarious. And he says, 2 guys, one of them is blind. The other one is his best and only friend. Blind guy says, hey, bartender, let me have a shot of your finest whiskey. And another one for my pal here. And the bartender says, your pal where? And then Mr. E pauses and he waits for the punchline. But it turns out Constantine was just using a little bit of parlor tricks to get away as he's saying this. So Mr. E's just standing in an empty room. And we see he's made his way to a temple. And he believes this temple is where the next part of the dial is, or next part of the compass, which is the dial itself. But when he arrives at the temple, there's a guy sitting there waiting. And he says, hey, you're John Constantine, right? I got a message for you. And Constantine's like, I don't know who you are, and I don't really want to talk right now. But then he transforms, and it turns out this guy was Jim Corrigan, a.k.a. the Spectre. And the Spectre shows up and says, John Constantine, you have caused so many innocents to die. You are 100% about to be righteously judged, and there is no way you can escape it. And Constantine is straight up terrified right now. He has no idea how he's going to get out of this. And as basically the Spectre says, how do you plead? Constantine's like, okay, hear me out. I plead guilty, but this compass thing is going to give these evil mages the ability to essentially overtake God. And if that's the case, you want me to find this thing before them. So just let me do that. And then once that's done, we can talk about my eternal soul and whatnot. And Spectre's like, fair enough. I'll let you continue on your quest, but the moment it's done, succeed or fail, I'm taking your soul. And he's like, cool, fair enough. And Spectre disappears, and Constantine is just leg-shakingly terrified. But he manages to get up and makes his way down into a Buddhist temple where he somehow just knows where the dial is. I don't know how. There's a dish with some candles on it. He crushes it, and then there's the dial. But either way, he has it, and he hops back on a plane going back to London. And he says, like, yeah, no, of course they're expecting me to go back to London. So when I get there, I'm imagining I'm going to have to fight against them, and I will probably lose and die. But, what if I don't? What if I win? Can you imagine the look on their face as I take the needle from them again? God, that would be fantastic. That's why I'm doing this. So then we see back at the little grass hut, Sargon from last issue comes up to Mystery and it's just like, you let him escape because of a joke? And Mystery's like, hey, but you're still a child. You don't deserve the name of Sargon yet. You haven't done anything to earn it yet. And she's like, fine, whatever. I guess we'll see. He's going back to London, and I've got something there waiting for him. And we see the final page is London. Usually, we see Big Ben and the Union Jack and whatnot, and then we also see a horde of people all burned and gouged out and dangling from nooses around their neck. So, yeah, looks like they're waiting for him. Okay, so I like this issue. I think it's solid. I think it's a good way to set up that there's this other threat to Constantine that we can explore at the end of this, because isn't there always the thing of somebody's after Constantine's soul? I like that they're just straight up saying it here of, yep, Spectre says you have done bad things. You are going to be judged. And so we just have to see what Constantine does to get out of that. The strange part to me, though, is that there's numerous points in this book where it doesn't feel like Constantine has anything under control. Like, he's terrified of the Spectre. He just gives up the location of the needle from last issue. And that's not what I think of when I think of Constantine. But it's not in a bad way. It's not in a way of, oh, they're betraying the character. It's giving him more depth. It's making him feel like he doesn't immediately know what to do. He's not just smarmy for the sake of being smarmy. I appreciate that. It's giving the character a lot more to him than just, oh, yeah, he just does whatever, and he's always got 7 aces up his sleeve. So I enjoyed this book. I enjoy the art style. It's great. I think the only real critique I could have right now is that we're kind of like bum rushing our way through this compass, and I still don't feel like we've really set up what the compass does yet. We've talked about it a lot, but I feel like even just showing a little bit of, oh, if you have a tiny bit of the compass, you can do this incredible thing. Instead, they do nothing unless it's all together. And that works, but it doesn't sell how important the compass is. So, yeah, tiny little critique, though. Overall, do really enjoy this. I'm going to give it a 7.5. I think it's doing a good job at setting up stakes and stuff like that. The art is great. I'm not a huge fan of the cover art style, but the internal arts are fantastic. And yeah, looking forward to the next issue.